Hey everybody, my name is James Shepard, and I'm starting a new 3-part mini-series on how to sell merchant accounts without cold calling. Now, in this very first video, I really want to talk about prospecting, and I want to give you some kind of caveats or some exceptions to the rule here because nobody has been a bigger proponent of prospecting than I have been. I love prospecting. I think prospecting is amazing. And I promoted it so much because it's something where I know for sure that no matter who you are that's watching or listening right now, you could go out in the field and you could go prospecting, or you could get on the phone and you could schedule appointments for yourself. And if you legitimately work 8 hours a day, 5 days a week for 6 months, if you have any sales ability at all, you're going to be at least somewhat successful with that. That is going to work. It's like a guaranteed result. And so that's the reason I push prospecting so hard. But in this little video series, I recognize that there are some of you that, quite frankly, prospecting is just not for you. You like to sell, but maybe in your previous jobs, you always had leads and, things like that, and you're just not ready to go cold calling. I also recognize that there are many of you that watch my videos and listen to my podcast that actually your business is at a point where you're making really good residual and you can afford to do more of a long-term strategy where you don't need to sell a merchant today or tomorrow in order to pay your rent. And so you're looking for like, okay, James, I prospected for 5 years. I'm getting a little burned out on that. And now I'm looking for maybe a slower transition where I'm still going to go prospecting, but I want to start building a brand or building something that, long-term is going to be there for me and generate results. So before we get to these strategies, I'm going to share 2 of them with you. In the next video, we'll share one, and then one after that, we'll share another one. I'm going to share these 2 concepts with you, or ways that you can actually build a merchant services business without cold calling. I want to give you 4 caveats, and I actually took down some notes for this one to make sure I get it right. So number 1, cold calling is still the most effective use of your time. Okay, so let's be really clear about this thing, right? We're talking about doing a strategy that's predicated on your quality of life. You don't want to go prospecting anymore, okay? And that's a valid reason. I mean, if you want to be happy and prospecting isn't making you happy and you've already paid the price and you've built a business, or maybe you're coming brand new to the industry, but you intentionally saved up a year's, expenses so that you don't have to go nuts with the cold calling. And so you've already paid the price to be able to do one of these strategies, but let's call it what it is. If you actually went out walking into businesses selling the merchant services, it would probably still be a better use of your time. Definitely short term it would be, okay? So prospecting is still the best use of your time. For those of you that haven't paid the price yet, if you don't have an existing income stream, if you don't have money sitting in the bank, you could try these things I'm telling you on a part-time basis, but you still need to go prospecting. Don't let this video or this podcast episode be your kind of excuse to stop prospecting because, oh, look, there's this other strategy. These other strategies actually work really well once you have a lot of merchant accounts and a lot of experience. But when you're starting out, you need to go prospecting. Let me also say that almost every single successful merchant services agent that I know in this industry is still prospecting. That's what they do. Like 95% of them still go prospecting every day. I know agents that make a fortune in this industry that still go out prospecting every day. So that is still the lowest risk guaranteed option. And I'm still a huge proponent and fan of prospecting and cold calling. Okay. Number 2, cold calling generates much faster results than the 2 strategies I'm going to share with you in the coming videos and podcast episodes, okay? So if you need results fast, these strategies are definitely not for you because they're not going to generate results quickly. I'm going to share strategies with you that over the course of 90 days, you're going to start to see some results. After 6 months, it's like, okay, I'm really getting some momentum. After 12 to 24 months, you're generating 10, 15, 20 merchant accounts a month without cold calling by doing what I'm going to describe consistently over a long period of time. But this does not generate results quickly. So again, for some of you, you might want to do what I did. When I got started, these strategies I'm describing to you, I did these strategies successfully selling merchant accounts, but I did them in the evenings and I did them in addition to what I was already doing. And so this was my extra work. I was still out there prospecting and making sales because I needed to make sure I was making money and having cash flow to support my family and my business. Number 3, because of the delayed sales cycle, we're assuming that you're in a good position to try these strategies out. So I already touched on this, but this means you've already got a residual income that can support you and or you've got money in the bank, that kind of thing. And so if you don't have that again, these strategies, not for you. Number 4, the strategies I'm going to share with you, you're still interrupting people. Okay? You're still interrupting people. You're not really, I wouldn't say cold calling. These are like better like warm, you can generate warm leads from this, but the strategies I'm going to tell you are still interrupting. So if you were looking for, oh great, James is finally going to share the magic formula where I can sit in my easy chair and watch Netflix all day and the commission is just going to roll in, you probably want to watch somebody else's channel, because I will never share anything remotely similar to that, because there's a name for that. It's actually called a scam. Okay? That doesn't exist. So all of you out there that are still convinced there is this magical idea somewhere where you don't work, but you still make money. It does not, well, it does exist. If you have millions and millions of dollars, you can invest your capital and you can get a return on that capital. So you can put your money to work for you. But either you have to work or you have to put your money to work. There's nothing in between, and that's just the reality of business. If you're in business, you should be in business because you enjoy it, you like to work, you like to build your business, you like to talk to people. That's business, that's sales, okay? So I'm so excited about this. We're going to share 2 strategies with you that you can use to generate and build that merchant portfolio without doing the cold calling and kind of the door-to-door prospecting type of stuff. And I'm going to share 2 strategies with you. I've been wanting to share them forever, but I was worried I would share them and then everybody would be like, oh, well, then I don't have to prospect. No, you still want to prospect. This is for those of you that are in a position where you can transition into that. So in the next video, I'm going to talk about email marketing. It is not going to be anything like what you're thinking right now. I promise you that, okay? We're going to talk about email marketing and merchant services, totally different strategies than you've ever heard before. I promise you that. And we're going to talk about that in the next episode, so make sure you stay tuned for that one.